The price of gold held firm at last night's sudden one-week highs in London trade on Wednesday, heading for a new record month-end finish as global stock markets rose ahead of today's U.S. Federal Reserve decision on dollar interest rates. Rising stock markets came despite airstrikes in Beirut and Tehran, blamed on Israel and attacking Iran-backed targets, killing the top Hezbollah commander in Lebanon and the leader of Gaza's Hamas, threatening a wider Middle East war. Industrial commodities reversed yesterday's copper and oil drop after new Chinese data said factory and services sector activity in the world's second-largest economy held virtually unchanged this month from June on the NBS PMI surveys. Gold rose in all currencies except the Japanese yen, which hit 19-week highs versus the dollar after the Bank of Japan raised Tokyo interest rates to the highest in 15 years at 0.25% per annum and vowed to cut the pace of its government bond buying in half at the start of 2026. Like gold bullion in dollars, yuan, euros, and UK pounds, silver prices also traded at the highest in a week, reaching $28.75 per troy ounce to recover 5.2% from Monday's 2.5-month low. Crude oil rose too, reversing yesterday's 1% drop in European benchmark Brent, but heading for a $5 loss across July at $80 per barrel, its lowest monthly close so far in 2024. Trading at $2,420 per troy ounce, gold priced in the dollar showed a $90 rise from the end of June, gaining 3.8% to head for a new record monthly finish. Copper, meantime, rallied from near 4-month lows, but heading for its weakest monthly close since March, down more than 1/5 from mid-May's record peak. Israel on Wednesday didn't take official responsibility for killing Fuad Shukar or Ismail Haniyeh, but CBS says the U.S. assessment is that Tel Aviv ordered both attacks, pushing the Mideast to the edge of a regional war, according to Israeli newspaper Haaretz. Washington denied any foreknowledge of the attacks, while Berlin and Moscow called separately for all parties to exercise maximum restraint. Iran's theocratic leadership vowed harsh punishment for the attack on Tehran, which killed Hamas's brave leader after he attended the inauguration of new reformist Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. The Israeli government press office meantime published and then deleted a post from its Facebook account with the word "eliminated" written across Haniyeh's face in large black lettering. Japan's central bank seems to have leaked its decision overnight, with the Nikkei newspaper saying at 2 a.m. in Tokyo that the Bank of Japan was considering exactly the aggressive policy changes then announced 11 hours later. Overall, higher rates will benefit households, the Nikkei quoted a Bank of Japan source. Tokyo's stock market opened the day 1.1% lower, but then rallied and rose sharply following bullish comments on the policy decision from Bank of Japan Governor Kazuo Ueda, ending Wednesday 1.5% higher to rise within 5% of mid-July's new all-time peak. Hedge funds and other speculative traders had already made a massive retreat from their bearish bets against the yen, said a note Tuesday from analysts at Swiss banking giant UBS. Tokyo authorities, including the Bank of Japan, which now owns more than half of all the nation's central government debt after decades of massive QE bond buying, perhaps spent $40 billion of public funds buying the yen to drive it higher this month from new 4-decade lows, says the Reuters news agency. New York equity futures meantime rose 1.1% ahead of Wednesday's opening, more than reversing yesterday's 0.5% drop in the S&P 500 index ahead of more megatech earnings reports. Since the 10th of July, when Fed Chairman Jerome Powell told Congress that he is preparing to cut interest rates, a move not expected at today's meeting, the so-called Magnificent Seven have lost $2.6 trillion in stock market value, led by a near one-quarter drop in AI chipmaker NVIDIA. The Magnificent Seven sell-off accelerated last Wednesday on weaker quarterly earnings from electric car marque Tesla and doubts over the value of AI investments made by Google search giant Alphabet. Shares in Microsoft fell further last night after reporting lower than expected cloud computing and data storage revenues. But the Magnificent Seven were expected to rally Wednesday, led by Nvidia, after the software giant talked up its plans for further investment in AI. Facebook owner Meta is due to report its Q2 earnings today at the same time as the Fed makes its July interest rate statement. Thursday then brings quarterly earnings reports from smartphone brand Apple and e-tail giant Amazon. Gold priced in the US dollar has meantime held unchanged around $2,400 per troy ounce since Chairman Powell's dovish comments to Congress 3 weeks ago, while bond prices have risen, pushing 10-year Treasury yields down from 4.30% to 4.15% per annum. Industrial metals copper, aluminum, and steel have sunk 10% or more, but cryptocurrency Bitcoin has risen nearly 15%. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.